you doing today, guys? Welcome back to another day of 7th grade math. This is Mr. Gomez, your favorite teacher in the whole world. And today, we are going to be making predictions with experimental probability. But before we start, I'd like to invite you to go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell on so that you don't miss any future content. And if you haven't seen my other channel, MTV Alex, I'll leave a card right here. I do mountain bike and DIY stuff. Also, if you want to support this channel, link down in the description. Now, today, we're going to be making predictions with experimental probability. Previously, we talked about how to find the experimental probability for single and also compounds events. I might leave a link or playlist somewhere, maybe over here or on the description. But before that, we also talked about making predictions with theoretical probability. Okay, I'll leave a video right here for you. Making predictions with theoretical probability. Now, the process is going to be the same, but the difference is that in theory, everything is picture perfect. So whatever happens on writing, on your math, that's what's going to happen. On experimental, on the other hand, this is different because you're actually performing the experiment. Just like on a science class, you do theory before you actually set up to go do the experiment. So this is the same thing right now. So without further ado, it says, when you have information about previous events, you can use that information to predict what will happen in the future. Okay, so like doing surveys and things like that on the street. Like if you, for example, it says, if you control a basketball into the basket 3 out of the 5 times that you throw it, so you're gonna make 5 throws, 3, 4, and 5. It says that you're probably gonna make it, well, according to the experiment that you did, the basketball went in the basket 3 times out of the 5 times, 3 out of the 5 times. So that's your fraction, right? It says you can predict you will make 6 baskets in 10 tries. If you try 15 times, you can expect to make 9 baskets. So they're using proportions right here. So basically, this is what they're doing. It's saying the first option is 3 out of 5, right there, which is 3 out of 5. And then they're saying you can predict that you're going to make 6 out of 10, right there. That means that this is 6 out of 10 is the same thing. You just multiply by 2. They're also saying that you can make it 9 out of 15 times. So if you go over here, you can expect it to make, if you try 15 times, you're going to make it 9 times. That's an experiment that might happen. So this is the same thing as 9 out of 15. And if you simplify all of those, you're going to get 3/5 at the end. And I showed you many different ways to do proportionality before. So you can multiply these two, that's 30. These two is 30. And as long as they're the same, you're good. Or you can try multiplying the 3 times 15, which is 45, and 9 times 5, which is 45. As long as you get the same numbers, you're good, and you can try them back and forth. I showed you that on a previous video when we talked about proportionality, things, similar figures or something like that. You can check them out on my channel. You'll find those videos as well. Now, for example, A, it says proportion. Use a proportion. This is exactly what a proportion looks like right here. The different fractions, then when you simplify them, means the same thing. So to make it easier for you and see it better, if you have 1/2 is the same thing as 2/4. Y'all remember that? 1/2 is the same thing as 2/4. If you cut the pizza in half and you eat a piece of it, you're gonna eat half of it. But if you cut it in 4 pieces, you eat 2 pieces, you still ate half of the pizza. Okay, this is 5th grade, 3rd grade stuff. I know it's 3rd grade because my son is looking at it right now. Now, letter A, use a proportion. It says, a survey found that 8 out of 10 people choose apples as their favorite fruit. Okay? Proportion, the first fraction, 8 out of 10 is right here. If you ask 100 people, how many can you expect that are gonna like the apple as their fruit? So instead of asking 100 people, And this is what they do whenever they do surveys out there, like they say 1 million Americans like basketball, something like that. They're not gonna go ask 1 million Americans what their favorite sport is, or if they like basketball. They're probably gonna do like a small survey. They're gonna go to a park, ask about 100 people, and then scale it up. This is exactly what the making predictions is all about. And they do it every day for a lot of different things. So, for example, we're going to do cross products like we did on making predictions with theoretical probability. Instead of doing 100 times, all we got to do is set up the proportion. You're looking for how many, so all you got to do is multiply, cross multiply. So you're going to have 10x equals to 800, and then you divide by 10, so x equals 80. So out of the 100 people, 80 of them are gonna like apples as their favorite fruit. That's a good experiment. That's a good expectation. Can it be more? Yeah, it can be like 83, 84. It can be 75, 76. As long as you are within the range, it is acceptable because this is an experiment. It's not theory. In theory, it is actually 80. But as an experiment, it can be a little bit more, it can be a little bit less. You just got to make that decision. Now, B, multiply. This is the fastest way to do something like this. Instead of setting out the proportions, you can also do it this way. It says, Eric's basketball coach calculated that if Eric hits the ball 49% of the time, okay, let's try it again. Eric's basketball coach calculated that Eric hits the ball 49% of the time. If Eric receives 300 pitches this season, how many times can Eric predict that he will hit the ball? Like I said, I don't know how many times before. Anytime you have a percent, all you gotta do is convert to decimal, 1, 2 to the left, and multiply. And this applies here as well. Anytime you have a percent, convert to decimal and multiply by the total number, and that's it. We're doing the same thing right here. So we're gonna convert this to decimal. We're gonna move 1, 2, so it's 0.49 times the total, and when you multiply, you get 147. So that means that if he gets 300 pitches, you're gonna expect Eric to hit the ball 147 times. That's exactly what it means. It is the same thing as doing cross products, but I think this method is faster. You just gotta pick which one is better for you. Now we're gonna do a few examples right here. Number 1, on average, 25% of dogs who go to ABC veterinarian need the rabies boosters. Okay, if 120 dogs visit ABC veterinarian, how many of them will likely need the rabies booster? Again, you can do that with the cross product, or you can do convert to decimal and multiply. It doesn't matter. So in this case, it says 100. They have 100 over here. This is the percent piece. This on this right here, that's where you're gonna put in the percentages, and over here you're gonna put in the amounts, the actual amounts. So what do I know about percentages? Well, for percentages, I know 25%. We're gonna put that right there. And remember, this is part over total. We're still doing part over total. And my total number of dogs, the number that they gave us is how many? 120. That goes right there. So all you gotta do is solve for x. So we're gonna have 100x, when you do cross products, equals 120 times 25. Which is 3,000. Okay. Now all you gotta do is divide by 100, or just move the decimal 2 places to the left. Now what I like to do, anytime I have a lot of zeros on both sides, I have 2 zeros on the 100 and 3 zeros on the 3,000, I can eliminate the last 2 zeros and the last 2 zeros, so x equals to 30. That means that most likely 30 dogs will need the rabies booster. 30 dogs will need the rabies booster. Now, you can also do this one by converting the percent into a decimal and multiply by 120. If you do that, you're going to get the exact same answer. You're gonna get 30. What works best for you is up to you. Now, and that's exactly how we're gonna do number 2. It says about 90% of the 7th graders prefer texting to emailing. 90% of the 7th graders. Now, if there's 550 students, how many will you predict that will like texting better than emailing? So all we gotta do is 90%, convert that to decimal. So this will be 0.9 times 550. When you multiply 550 times 0.9, you get 495 students. So 495 students will likely prefer texting. Now, can it be 490? Yes, it can be 490. Can it be 500? Yes, it can be 500. Because we're predicting on an experiment. If you actually go ask every single 7th grader, you might get a little less, a little bit more. But around 495, that's an accurate number. Okay? So again, I like better to convert percent to decimal and multiply. Although butterfly or cross products on number 1 is the same thing for me as well. Which one do you prefer? Leave them down in the comments below. Do you like the cross product better? Or would you like to convert to decimal or multiply? If you learned something today, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. If you know that somebody is struggling with this subject, please share them with this video with them. That is it for today, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.